So I was asked to speak about the significance of Juneteenth to me. And to be completely transparent, Juneteenth is not something I learned about growing up in school. It's something I learned about well into my adult years. And as soon as I found out about it, I began recognizing and celebrating Juneteenth, June 19th, as my Independence Day versus July 4th. And I think this historical significance is just too heavy to weigh. But when I think of what Juneteenth means to me, it really boils down to three areas: one being progress, two being inclusiveness, three being hope. So when we think of the first area, progress, I think it symbolizes how far we've come as a country and how far we must continue to go. So, great strides with Congress making Juneteenth a federal holiday back in 2021. And it's actually the first federal holiday since MLK Day. But it just also shows how far we need to continue going. It took nearly 90 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed in order for most African Americans to be free. On top of that, yes, we had that declaration. Yes, we eventually had the Emancipation Proclamation that went into effect to end slavery. But nearly 100 years after that Emancipation Proclamation, the Civil Rights Act was still underway. So free, but not equal. And then after that, July 4th was recognized as a federal holiday, and Juneteenth took 150 years later to be recognized. So yes, we made some great strides with, okay, this is important. Let's recognize this as something that's important to all Americans. But look at how long it took and the pathway there, and it just shows still so much progress to go. And I think that goes right into inclusiveness. Inclusiveness, by definition, is having equal opportunity, equal access, equal knowledge for all, and especially for those marginalized groups. And when we think about Juneteenth, the Emancipation Proclamation went into effect 1863, but many were not free because they didn't know or because that information was withheld. So when we think about inclusiveness in current times, a lot of times we generalize or stereotype people or even outright blame them for what they have and what they don't have. And if you weren't given that equal opportunity or equal access, how can you expect someone to know or how to have? So I think this just goes back to us realizing that, yes, in order for us to be truly inclusive, people need equality. And that's something that we still need to strive for as a nation. And that just boils me down to the last area, which is hope. We've come far, we've had progress, but there's still so much more progress that we need. And like the Black protests that we had and all the events across the world, like, are definitely crucial, but we need to continue the momentum. It shouldn't just be around a certain time period or when something happens. We should constantly be growing and learning and figuring out ways to take action. And really, that's really going to bring us and make us more hopeful, not only for ourselves, because we're in a better place than our former generations, but for future generations. So it boils down, Juneteenth, and for me, it speaks of hope. And I have hope that we can progress more as a country and we can truly become inclusive. And that's how I feel, and that's how I'll be celebrating learning more and even learn better ways to educate myself and take action. And I encourage you all to learn and do the same as well.